All right. Welcome to Vincent Koo Live Success Leaves Clues, where together we're going to uncover some of the secrets left behind by successful individuals in our industry. All right. So, listen, we could go figure it out ourselves, but it'll likely take more time, cost us more money, and it'll certainly be less fun. So, today, our guest is Vanessa Gonzalez. Vanessa, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Vince.
Yeah, so Vanessa is with Realty Connect USA. She is number one in her company, and her company has 994 associates. So that is amazing. She's also National Association of Hispanic Realtors, number 7 in the entire Northeast, number 26 for individual volume, and number 55 in the nation. Congratulations, Vanessa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing. We're honored to have you, and we look forward to all that you're going to be sharing with the listeners. Okay.
Well, I'm honored to be here.
Yes, thanks, Vanessa. So I guess let's start from the beginning and let us know what brought you into the industry.
What brought me to the industry? Well, that was a long time ago. I always like people. I love people. I love relationships, and that's what I do best. And then, one time I was eating in a restaurant, and a broker found me and say, "Hey, would you like to try to sell houses?" And I'm like, let's try.
You know what? That seems to
That's,
be
that's
such a common a common story, right? Like it's always the broker going into a restaurant and saying you would be great in real estate, right? And
yeah. I was actually making a line, and I remember, like, I don't know. I think he was listening to my conversation and everything, and then he just turned around and he gave me the opportunity, and he changed my life.
wow. And you came into this business quite young, right?
Yes, very young, I will say.
Very young. Okay. And how was the start for you? Was it instant success right away?
Well, depending on what you really define by success, um, is different for everybody. But at the time, if you're asking me if I was selling houses, yes, I was selling houses. Um, I had a very good production, and it was great times, right? I think everybody that got in the industry in that time made good money.
So right from the get-go, you started, succeeding in the business, right?
Yes, I mean it was a great time. It was a time that everybody used to buy houses, so we did good. I mean, we did really good. I was very young, so I just didn't really follow the right steps, but we did good.
Okay. And then you lived through the crash of 2008.
Yes.
Okay. So what was that like for you?
Hmm. That was a very humbling experience, though. I mean, I think when we were back in the times that everybody sold three, four, five, seven, 8 houses a month, you just didn't know reality anymore, right?
Mhm.
So we all probably got a little confused, and then we needed that. I mean, that changed my life. That brought me back to understanding that there are more things than just sell a house as a real estate agent, and the process and the discipline to be an agent and how to really conduct a business. So it was a little different. I mean, it switched my mindset, and thank God I had the opportunity to keep working as a real estate agent. So I did shift the way I was handling my business, but I still in business. I was still in business at the time.
Explain that a little bit. What do you mean you shifted the way you did your business?
Because it was not the same. Like before, everybody could buy a house, right? Back in the days, I remember it was January, and out of 10 deals that I had to close, next day, I only had two. 3 days after, I had zero.
Wow.
And my pipeline was dead. I mean, when I'm telling you that, meaning I had no closing, I didn't know where my next business was gonna come from, and I only knew one thing: I had to pay bills. I had a
Mhm.
son, my mom, and my dad, and I had no choice but just find a way. So then I went back and started to do short sales, and I was listing homes because all the time, at that time everybody was under the water, so everybody had to do a short sale, and I started to do sales. And then, little buyers, because it was not the same. It was hard to qualify to buy a house. So I tried to navigate through the market, and whatever you needed me to do, I will do.
So,
So go to Brook. I will go to Brooklyn.
but how did you? Short sales were new to us at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were
Mm-hmm.
new to many of us. So,
Mm-hmm.
how did you learn the process of going through of guiding your clients through the short sale process?
Grabbing the phone, calling the bank. A lot of people hang up the phone on me at the beginning, asking questions and keep asking. And then every class that I saw, I will register myself into the class. And I kept calling and calling and calling and find out. And if they told me do this, send it again, I will do it and send it again. No, this is wrong. Why is wrong? And I did it by grabbing the phone and learning. I mean, that's the only way sometimes, right? In this business, like, you have to just go ahead and do it and see what happens.
Well, you didn't have all the answers. You kind of just figured it out along the way.
Yes.
Okay. And how much of your business was short sales right after the 2008?
90%. When everything collapsed, 95%. If it's not, 97.
Really?
You can tell that I didn't do my numbers. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my market was under the water, like 105%. So
Wow. And right now, a good amount of your business is in REOs, correct?
yes.
So I know that a lot of people listening want to get into the REO business. Tell us about how you got into the REO business.
You see, that's the question that sometimes people ask me about it, and I'm like, I wish I could tell you, but I wasn't really like submitting applications or doing the BPOs to the banks or the. I actually got a phone call and was interviewed for it. So it is a little different than what people usually do. It's not the regular process of how they sometimes do broker price opinions, drive-bys, submit paperwork, or do things like that. So
Okay. So when you said you were interviewed for that position, you were doing a lot of short sales at the time. Okay. So you were helping. Yes.
at that time, when I got that phone call, I was already slowing down with the short sales because the market was, yeah, shifting again. So yes, I got a phone call, and it was a CEO that I didn't believe it was a CEO. So I said, okay, yes, I'm Wonder Woman too. And I didn't say that, of course, but in my mind, I was like, okay. And then I realized he was really the CEO. And I said, send it over. Let me see what I can do. And if you like it, we keep working.
So it was one opportunity.
I believe it was the one opportunity at the right time.
Okay.
Because sometimes you do get opportunities, but at not the right time. But in this case, it came at the right time.
All right. And if you don't mind, I'm going to take questions from our listeners. We have Sherry would like to know how they found you.
You know what? I know we spoke about this before. I was so nervous when I found out that he was really a CEO that I couldn't even talk. Um, so I didn't even ask. I mean, I was like, oh yes, yes, okay, send me one. Like, yeah, definitely, I'll do it. But I didn't think. It's that second when where you don't really have the time to think how this happened, why this happened, and start asking questions. And just so you know a little bit about me, I'm not that type of person that wants to figure everything out at the beginning. So I didn't even care where did he find me. Like, I was just like, okay, let's do it. Let's get it. Let me show you what I got.
Okay. And I'm assuming that you did a great job on that first property.
I guess, like I say, I never ask. What I can tell you is that I wear my t-shirt, like if I'm with you, I'm with you, and I'm gonna wear the t-shirt whether we're in good times or bad times. So I did treat every single asset as is my own house. I mean, I remember having agents telling me, but why you care so much? That's not your house. That's not your property. But to me, they were my babies.
Mhm.
So it was an opportunity at the right time. Um, and I grab it with all my heart, not only with my business mentality, not only with my real estate career passion, but it became part of my life. You see, like it became my breakfast, my lunch, and my everything, my dinner. You know,
Right. You really took ownership of
yes, my kids talk about it. I mean, everybody has something to say about it. You know.
Okay. And I think a lot of people don't really fully understand the responsibilities of an REO listing agent. So can you shed some light on that?
Yes, I mean, that's like having a baby. That's what I call them, my baby. I mean, you have to care about everything. You're responsible if somebody breaks in. You're responsible if somebody left the light on. You're responsible if it closes. You're responsible if they don't close. You're responsible for everything. I mean, that's how I take it, right? And I'm definitely an aunt compared to others that are in the business for longer and that have way large inventory that what I handle. And this is a roller coaster business. And I always tell people it's not only the responsibility, the passion, the love, and everything that you have, but you also need to understand that it's a line. I remember I used to cry because I used to take things personal. And I used to get in my car and cry for hours. And I'm like, how they talk to me that way? They don't know what I do. I don't even sleep 3 hours. But then now it's like, okay, who cares if I sleep 1 hour or no? I have something to deliver. And it's not a problem how many hours I sleep or no. Or if I'm sick, if I feel good or bad. My job is to deliver. This is the business that I'm in right now. And that's what I have to do. And if I don't like it, just change it, right? So it's a choice, but it's a lot of responsibility. I mean, I told you it's different than having a relationship with a seller where you know that if you build that right, you have a client for life,
Okay.
right? Corporate business is different. So banks are corporates. So it's a little different. And you need to be prepared for that as well.
Okay. So you're saying if you don't deliver, then they could.
Or even if you deliver. I mean, even if you deliver, things change in a minute. I mean, their nephew, sister, brother, husband, wife could be part of the business. And then, what are you doing there? Right?
Okay.
So things change.
Okay. Um, so how long have you been doing REOs?
2000, my daughter was, I've been doing this since 2013. So we are 2020. Oh my gosh, 7 years. That's why. You
Okay.
see, the wrinkles are not for free.
Okay. We have a question. Were you already experienced in the field when you were interviewed?
I'm sorry, what is the question?
Were you already experienced and a very experienced agent in the field when you were interviewed?
No. Let me, I was an experienced agent. I used to do regular sales, first time home buyers, regular listings and short sales. But with REOs, believe it or not, that's the funniest part ever. I didn't even sold one REO house, like representing a buyer before that. No.
I wonder how many agents would have taken that opportunity that was given to you and run with it, or how many of them would have shied away from it and said, you know what, this is not my area of expertise.
I'm wondering the same thing, but you know what? That's what I say to you. It came at the right time. You
Mm-hmm.
see, I have changed so much. I mean, that's why the definition of success is so different for everybody, right? Like I remember watching Lily's interview, right? And her career and all that. Like everybody has a different journey, and that's sometimes we mistake that, and we confuse, and we think that number one or successful agent has to be the same standard for every agent, right?
Right.
And it's not. I mean, at that time it was the best opportunity. I was so grateful. I'm grateful. I still grateful every day, every morning. I'm grateful for it. It helped me tremendously. You have no idea, right? um But if it wasn't the right time for me, I wouldn't have been able to deliver the way I did,
Hmm.
because I did. Vincent, when I'm telling you, I gave my life to it for a couple of years, is because I did. I'm my kids were part of it, and I did this not on my own, right? Because my kids sacrificed, like they got used to get in the car, come with me, and wait in the car for hours, or it was just a teamwork, but it was very draining at one point as well, because I thought, oh, it's a listing and that's it. No, it's not. It doesn't work like a regular listing at all. I applaud and I commend and I respect everybody that has been in the business and has done REOs or is doing REOs, still do REOs. Um, it's just a different way of doing business.
Now, did you do it by yourself? Did you have a team? Do you have staff that kind of helped you with the processes?
I had a full-time admin that helped me out for a couple of years. I do have two agents. They're part of my team. I think we have each other,
Mhm.
right? They help me, I help them, and they are able also to conduct regular business. They do a lot of residential. We are like a family of three agents trying to figure things out to define our own success and make it bigger if we are together. So yes, I do have their help. They do help me in a few things when it comes about the REOs, and then they are also mostly involved with the buyers.
Okay. So right now, what percentage of your business is REOs?
Right now, I will tell you that I'm pushing a lot more residential, so we are back into 65-35.
Okay. 65% REO, 35% traditional real estate business.
Yes,
All right.
that's the my hands are on, right? On. Then you have um, Lilian and Fiorella that they are also hands on with the other residential stuff.
Okay. So then you have team members that are doing additional business outside of the stuff that you have your hand.
Hmm. Yes, yes.
Okay. Um, is the team built out to where it needs to be, or do you need more members? Do you need more staff? With
I don't want a bigger team as of
Mhm.
right now. Things change, but the team is not where it needs to be. But definitely, I don't wanna grow that. I want to grow the quality of business, right? I do think that is a way to do that. Not looking forward to have a big team, but it's not where it needs to be, but it is on the work. But
Okay.
I don't want more team members right now.
Okay. Um, you said that you figured a lot of things out by yourself. Okay. But did you have any guidance in the business? Like, you're coming in this new aspect of real estate, and did you have somebody that you could turn to say, "Hey, I'm running into this issue. What did you do in that situation?"
Hmm. No, you see, I had one. I don't consider myself lucky, but I'm really blessed, right? I didn't have at that time any REO broker. You see, a lot of people get into the REO business under an REO broker umbrella, right?
Mhm.
Like, or they buy the REO business book, right? Is a company, is an agent that sells it to another agent, or an agent that give the assignments to another agent so they start learning the REO, right? In my case, I was the one that had to, you know, get people under to assign REOs,
Mhm.
and I didn't have the umbrella of buying any book of business with experienced people that is going to help me and train me or answer any questions. No, but one of the guys that work there, I call him my godfather in business, right? So I got like kind of like, please, can you tell me these? I don't want to make mistakes. And I still remember I used to Google the words that they say or whatever that I didn't know. I used to Google it and say, oh, this is what it means. oh, and then I'm like, oh, yes, yes, I know. Like follow and continue the conversation. And it brings me back to when I was 18 years old and I was working in a multi-service and I was doing taxes, income taxes. And I was just taking the information, but my boss didn't want me to tell them that I didn't know, because then people will feel uncomfortable. So I used to go underneath of the counter and call the person that was preparing the taxes and ask them what this means. What should I say? And then I would come up and be like, oh, yes, this is what it means. I mean, you try to learn and do what you have to do to make it happen.
That's amazing. That's amazing that
You
you're
make me laugh right now because I just remember that.
that's really good, and I think a lot of people could kind of relate to that, kind of coming into the business or expanding their business and expanding their service to cover a new part of real estate. It's always new and you always have to learn, and I think it is important to have that person, your godfather that you called him, to go to and turn to say, hey, running into this situation, help me out. All right.
And it's not even like a real 100% open thing, but at least it's something. I mean, I have never seen most, this is a very cutthroat business in general, right? So that's what I define this, right? I'm not your typical agent. I'm not the agent that love the whole picture thing and like, no. I have a different definition, I guess, through the years of the business and the community itself, right, of real estate agents. So you don't really see, and I haven't see all these open book everywhere in every niche.
Mm-hmm.
The area definitely is even closer than the regular niches. So
Okay.
it's a little more.
So you're saying traditionally people don't share. That's what you find.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you really, sometimes if it's about regular residential, I will say that sometimes we don't believe, because Lily was saying things that I'm like, absolutely right. I mean, if I would just have a CRM from the very beginning, I mean, that itself will bring like probably like $1 million now, because
Right.
you go back to 17 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not now. It's not the last 3 months that I'm trying to find what was the name, and it's just 17 years ago, right? Time flies.
So
So when you are an agent and you listen to that, you're like, yeah, right. You're gonna tell me that's helping your success. But when you actually do it and you are practicing this every day, you realize that yes, that is a big tip. I mean, that's big than anything else.
so when did you start your CRM officially?
Officially, 3 months ago.
Congratulations. Right?
I mean, it's better than never.
Yes. Yes. And whatever got you to do it, that's what I'd like to know. What was it that got you to say, okay, let me start working on it?
Because I feel time is flying, right? I don't have the same energy that I had when I was 10, but I'm also more disciplined than 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is a process. You evolve, right? You learn if you choose wisely, right? And you're gonna keep making mistakes. And I have always been one of those people that I'm so hard when I make a mistake and I don't let it go. And that doesn't help me. So I'm working hard on myself. I'm always like, I was watching Lily's, I was watching the webinars that everybody my company does. I always look up to other people. I think believing that you know best than everybody else just because you have 7 or 8 quarters being number one, that's something that changed the last quarter when I was away because I had a mini stroke, right? And the number doesn't really define your
You had,
success.
Vanessa, you had a mini stroke.
Yeah, that was that was in December, right? When I was diagnosed that I had that, and I couldn't spend Christmas with my family right here. So
Wow.
those things may help you to. And then we had the pandemic. And after that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna change my life because this whole thing about being number one, this is not like that. But then everything is fine. They tell you, you're good to go. You start to forget that fear, the feeling of fear, what that moment really meant to you because you're back, right? And then boom, the pandemic came, right? So then you again look for what what is really success for you. I have friends that they're stay-home moms and they're successful. You know why? They're so happy. They are in peace with themselves. They are happy, deeply happy. So as an agent, what is success for you? And I didn't know that before. So now I know. I have a plan, I have a number. I wanna be successful not to the world, but to myself. Like I already did it to the world. I proved it to myself. I was able with an accent that many people used to remember. I used to cry for that, for my accent, my the words. I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to say that word because I'm gonna have a problem when it comes out. What is the name again? I went through all that, and it was hard for me. Believe me. I mean, I cry a lot. So it's a different route now.
Okay, and so then tell everybody, what is success to you now?
Now the definition of success is finding my that's my own personal definition, is finding a balance in my life where the anxiety doesn't take over my day, where Lily say predictable business. I wrote that down, and
Mhm.
that is now something that I printed and put it in my mirror. I have it in my desk, in my office, and I have it in my house. So I remember, because I have to remember things, like sometimes I forget. And that's what I want. I want to work on that. I really do want to work more on that. I love people. Um, and I just want to do the right thing the right way and have the right consequence, because I think what you give, you get
Right.
3 times more, or 7. Who knows what's the right number, right? But even if it's 1, I'm happy.
So
So
success to you now is having a predictable business,
mhm,
right?
yes.
Okay. Okay. Any other big lessons that you've learned along the way?
Yes, you don't compare yourself to any other agent. You
Okay.
don't. You don't, because you're only one person. Okay, you are is that your limitations are your mind. My limitations are, look, this is, what I'm doing, this one of the things that I'm doing, this, besides that I admire you guys, and we have a great respectful relationship for the over the years, because it was my fear. This is my second public event, if you want to call it that way, even if it's virtual, that I do in English, like this, like long. I had one Latina bosses with an organization here in the area, and this is the second one. It was my accent. You see, I had to overcome that fear all the time for everything I do, every day. So I say, you know what? Why not? Why not me? I was able to maintain number one multiple quotas, and I wanted to prove it to myself, and say, you know what? Yes, I can do it. I mean, why not? And I did it. God helped me through it, right? I didn't have that umbrella to just say, okay, here it is. I had to work hard from the scratch, with no context or no people that knew the business and that wanted to tell me how to do this or that. Until today, there are many things I don't know, but I did fight hard. I did give my loyalty, and I had many opportunities to do crazy things and to get double, triple commissions. And I say, no, 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 because I want to stick to that relationship and to my core values and to who I am. And when I go home to bed at night and say, yeah, you know what is sad? I had to do an eviction to people that didn't want to listen, because we tried to offer good deals, but they didn't want to listen. But I didn't take anything away from anyone. I work hard for this. Same thing with the relationships, with my sellers, with my buyers. I mean, I told you, I have clients that I know, if I have a flat tire, I can call them at 2 o'clock in the morning, and they're gonna be there to help me, because we have a relationship.
Mm,
So it's no more any is any more about the number. You see, I'm grateful and thankful. I have my associates are people that are in the business for a long time and reputable and all that. But I mean, I have more than that. Now it's just not the number.
I see that. I
The
see.
number didn't bring me peace, and the number didn't bring me like stability. And everybody says, oh, real estate is a business where you don't gonna have a stable life. I have met a few agents that they do.
Mhm.
They don't go crazy about the number. I don't think they pay, I mean, but they have a predictable business.
Right. Right.
So that is success to me. That's what I'm looking for now.
And I see something that keeps coming up is um, that you really push past your discomfort, right? And in doing this live with me,
Of course.
yeah.
Look at this. I gained so much weight. And I say, you know what? And I always try to hide that and this and that. And I say, you know what? No, I'm gonna do it. And I thought about canceling a few times. And I said, I can't do that. That's so irresponsible. I mean, how am I gonna do that?
Right, right. And I was trying to encourage you along the way, right? I saw some of the lives that you did and some of the market updates that you did, and they were fantastic. And I told you that I watched them, even though they weren't in English. I said I watched them.
Yeah.
They were really great. Okay, what would you have done differently, knowing what you know now? I mean, I listen, and a lot of people say this, but maybe the top producers say this. I don't compare myself to others and whatnot, but you've already done it. You hit number
I
one.
used to do it. And I do it until, I mean, it's a constant battle. And you understand that there is no competition but yourself. Like, I mean, you really need to work hard. I mean, there are so many opportunities to go door knock, to go and call, to do this, to do that. If you don't do it, it's because you don't want to, not because the person next to you is doing it or is not doing it, right?
Right.
So it depends on you. I mean, what I will do different, one of the things that I will do different is first thing, get a CRM. I mean, have a balanced life, a schedule. Like when I started in real estate, I was 19 years old, right? And I had no clue about life. That's for sure. I had no clue. I spent more money that if I that month was $10,000 income, I know for sure that I had probably like $12,000
Expenses.
expenses because I knew that next month was another check that was coming for 15. So, I think a balance, discipline, and really get a CRM.
Really get a CRM. Okay.
And work the CRM because I had like 5 different ones that I never logged in. And I paid for over 6 months and I was like, oh, tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, and if you are able to find a mentor, find a mentor.
Find a mentor. Get a CRM.
Mm-hmm.
Find a mentor. If anybody has any questions, just shoot them into the comments. I'll bring them up. I'm going to scroll down, see if there's any questions that we missed. Here's one that we missed from John. Is it true that usually when a short sale is already on MLS, it's usually already gone and put on as a technicality for law?
Dependent. Like I do have a short sale, no, but the REOs, like sometimes the bank could have a deal already pending, but then they don't really ask you to go to MLS. So it depends on the bank. But the short sale, they it shouldn't be like that unless you are the highest offer. Then I mean, unless the terms, depending on the servicer, depending on the seller, because in the short sale you find that the seller has a lot to say. So the owner of the deed. So depending on all that, but the you have to ask the agent though.
Okay. Okay. So, Vanessa, you gave us a lot today. You really did. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate the fact that you let these guys in and let them really get to know you a little bit. I wish you all the success in the world. Any last piece of information that you want to leave our listeners?
I just think that we get so lost in the industry sometimes, right? Thinking about the numbers and the numbers doesn't really mean anything. It's about the journey. I mean, it's about what life do you want? What is the design that you have? And this is something that I never did for me. So I will tell you that there is business for everybody. Not everything that you see on the other side is always as green as you think it is. So the niche that you are trying to work, just do it with passion, with love, and try to concentrate on what can you do better. And you're gonna have your own success. You see, like you don't have the same president for the eternity. You don't have the same number one for all the time. You have an opportunity to shine on your own way. So if we will use that time, that energy to just work on, there is so many things that you can do. Webinars. NASA is giving free webinars, um, reading books. I mean, it's just a lot more than the number. So if you take that time and you concentrate on what you can implement and do different, you're gonna grow. At the end of the day, the checks that you cash are going to your household, not to nobody else's numbers. So that's what I will
Insightful. I love
share
it
with you.
very, very much. Vanessa, thank you so much. We appreciate you. We honor you. And
Thank you.
we'll be chatting soon. Hopefully we'll get you on again. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And you know what an experience is, right? I remember 10 years ago I saw Lily and I saw Maria Fermin and I saw you getting there and I'm like, oh my gosh. The little girl when they see the older sisters or the older people doing live and working that, right? So I'm so excited and grateful for the opportunity. All of you guys are people that I really take my hats off to.
Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate everybody joining us today, and we'll see you next time. Take care.